Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a wear test and review of the L'Oreal Pro Glow Foundation. I am so excited. So far it's doing really well. This is what it looks like when it's set. I have literally just put it on and we are going to wear this for about 12 hours. So we shall see how long it actually holds up for. But if you want to see how well this performs, then keep watching. So I have just moisturized my face and I do have a bit of sunscreen on because I think I might have to leave the house today. I'm not really sure, so I'd rather have sunscreen underneath. I do not go in with a primer or a powder on top or a setting spray or whatever because I think to really give this foundation a fair shot, I need to see how well it performs on its own because we don't all have the same primers, the same setting sprays, the same powders, so we may get varying results if I do include the ones that I do have. I want to see how well this foundation performs all on its own with absolutely no help. And can you hear that? It is so liquidy when I shake it, but you do have to shake this well, apparently. This is in the color 212 Cocoa, so I feel like I should have gotten a shade lighter just because the rest of my body is so yellow and cocoa just says red to me. But I am just going to shake that and then get it on my hand. I keep hearing people say that this is a full coverage foundation, and the few times that I have used it, I haven't gotten full coverage out of it. So I'm going to really try to build it into being full coverage today, but this is what I have so far. Look at how runny that is though. And look at the color of that. It looks seriously orange. So let's hope for the best. I have used this a few times and I did like it, but the one time I tried to record it, I hated it. So like now I'm kind of confused. I am going to go in with my Real Techniques buffing brush just because it's so liquidy and I want to just get it on the surface or whatever. And then on half my face, I'm going to use my Real Techniques sponge. And I'm using a lot more than I usually do. I think I do just go in with a very light hand, which is why I've never really seen the full coverage effect of this because people keep raving that it is full coverage and I'm like, no. So let's try that today. So this is the result so far. And in the monitor, I look like such an Oompa Loompa. I don't know what you're seeing on the screen, but in the monitor, it does not look like my color. But eventually it does set into my skin and it settles really well. So this is what it is half done. This is the side that has no foundation. This is the side with foundation. And I'm actually seeing that when you do build it up, it actually does have full coverage because I do have a few spots on like my cheeks and I'm really not seeing them this time. I am actually not seeing them at all. So I think if you do use quite a bit of it, it is full coverage. I feel like if I was using that amount in this time that I've owned it, then I would be more than halfway through the bottle. So you do need quite a lot of it to get full coverage. So I'm just going to do the same amount on my hand, go in on the other side of my face with my sponge, and then we shall see. But obviously because it's a sponge, it sucks up product, so I'm hoping it doesn't suck up too much, but we'll see the kind of coverage I can get with basically the same amount of product. Definitely getting less coverage because I can still see the spots on this side of my face, but that's to be expected because of the sponge. This side of my face is absolutely flawless. I don't know if the camera will pick up any spots, but in person, and I am on the zoomed inside of my mirror, it looks absolutely fantastic. I mean, minus the color, obviously. The color definitely does look too orange-based for my skin tone. I'm just going to spread the rest of this all over my face just to even it out and then buff it in with my sponge because that's how I usually do get my foundation on my face because the sponge side does look more buffed in and better. This side does look glowier, but it's kind of almost like it's sitting on my skin. Not really like it's sitting on my skin, but compared to this one, which looks just more pressed in and like it's already started setting, this side definitely does need the help of a sponge. So I am going to go over my entire face with my brush and then buff it in with my sponge. As you can see, it's now 11:54, so I'm just going to do the rest of my face, let this set properly and completely, and then I'll be right back. Like I said, no powders, no touch-ups, no nothing. I will be back for my first check-in in maybe an hour or so, and we'll see how well it's holding up. So as per usual with my reviews, I do come back in with my spectacles because I do wear spectacles and I want to test how well this foundation holds up underneath them. I put them on after I got done talking to you guys and I did not take them off. I haven't even shown you the time. Oh my goodness. It is now 3:13. I got this foundation on like just before 12 o'clock, so it's been roughly 3 hours, maybe 20 minutes that I've had it on. I have not taken off the spectacles, so let's see. Oh. It's a mess. It's a mess, but I didn't set it, so it's expected. This happens with every single one of my foundations, especially during these reviews because they're not set, so of course they're going to move around. This is me, by the way. I don't set it with powder. I don't do anything. The only powder I've used actually is this tiny little amount of blush that you can see on my face. But other than that, I don't use a powder because I do want to see how well the foundation itself holds up without the addition of any extra products, because I do have dry skin, so I'm not like sweating through it. I'm not getting oily through it. And also I do stay in the house, so it is a very controlled environment. Like, I'm not like outside in the elements. Though, as I suspected, I will have to leave the house today, so I'm kind of panicking because I'm gonna have to leave the house without my face being set, and I'm so scared of it like melting off just like as I'm walking through the CBD. So I'm just going to fix my nose area and then we'll take a look at the rest of my face. That was actually pretty easy to fix. I thought I'd have to like mess around with the brush and my finger and my sponge, but it was actually surprisingly easy to just blend back into place, and it does look almost good as new. So I'm very impressed with how it's doing on my nose. But I can see that it has settled into every single one of my lines. If you check around my mouth, you can see every single one of my little baby hairs around my mouth, and it's kind of throwing me off. I don't really know what to do about that, but I guess I will just smooth that into place, and then we'll talk about how glowy it is, because I can see in the monitor I look damn near greasy, and I have dry skin, and I've just been sitting in the house the entire day. My house is not hot, so it's not like we can say that I've been sweating through it, because I have not sweated through it at all. I am just going to take my serviette, get one ply open, and then blot all over my face, and then we'll see what that looks like after. But to be honest, it is the L'Oreal Pro Glow, so it was glowy even before. Like, I've been waiting for it to set this whole time, but I guess this is about as set as it gets. So I'm just gonna blot, and then we'll see what we're left with. So this is the result, and I can see in the monitor and in the mirror, it looks a lot more matte than it did a few minutes ago. And I actually really like this. I feel like my face looks absolutely flawless. I'm completely agreeing with that full coverage statement that everyone else keeps seeming to make, because I was always wondering, but I guess I was just using too little product. And you know, that's the danger when you don't have a pump. You can't really control how much product, like, you can't standardize the amount of product used across different reviewers. So I was just using too little product before, but oh my gosh, my face still looks so good. Even though it is still settled in the lines, it is creasing a little bit around my mouth. I think it still looks absolutely fantastic. I do see a bit of creasing underneath my eyes, both of them here, and it has settled into this crease that I have right on my nose. But other than that, my forehead looks great. The product has transferred, as you can see. It's transferred quite a bit, but this is without setting. So if you do set it, it will definitely transfer less. So I'm not mad at it at all. I feel like it looks absolutely fabulous. I'm just going to read the claims of the tube, because I feel like the most important ones would be contained here. It doesn't come with any packaging of any sort. It just has like a safety seal on the top. And as you can see, it is a squeezy tube, so you do squeeze out the foundation. Less wastage, because you can control the amount of foundation that's coming out. But also kind of bad because like I scrub myself before I come and do my foundation. So if I do get out too much, I like to put it back in the bottle, and you can't really do that with this one. But it does say that this is a lasting glow foundation. Never dull, never greasy. Kind of greasy, even on my dry skin, kind of greasy. Like, you know, my dry skin is the equivalent of setting it with powder, and kind of greasy after a couple of hours, after 3 hours. So the finish is said to be radiant, not natural, not demi-matte, radiant. And it does have a radiant finish. Even now that I've blotted, my face still looks alive. It looks like I have life in me, you know, and I'm really excited. I love the finish of this foundation. We're up to 24 hours. So I am actually going to leave the house and come back, and we shall see how well it's holding up, because it claims to be a 24-hour wear. And you know, when they say up to 24 hours, they don't mean when you set it with a specific powder. They just mean the foundation itself. So let's see how well the foundation itself holds up to its own claims, you know. Coverage, medium. I think it's more medium buildable. It's definitely medium the way I was wearing it before, but this is now like full on coverage. Every one of my spots is covered. My pimples on my face don't look terrible. Like, it's not clinging to anything because it is a glowy foundation. So it's actually medium to full coverage. Texture is airlight. So now that I've blotted it down, it is airlight, but as it was getting more greasy, I could definitely feel it more on my face. It wasn't heavy feeling on my face, but I definitely knew I was wearing foundation. I will be back for my next check-in. It is now 11:18 p.m. We are up close and personal because I have had the longest day ever. I need to take my foundation off. So this is a final check-in. 11:18. I've tried waiting until 12 exact hours, but I can't, I don't have it in me. So just ignore my lips because I am doing a wear test of this lipstick and it will be up on my channel soon. I have had my spectacles on since my last check-in, which was at about 4 p.m. and this is the result. Not bad. It's actually not bad compared to some of the foundations that I've tested that I've only worn my spectacles for like an hour or 30 minutes and they just pool completely around my nose. This is actually not terrible. So I'm just going to buff that in. Before I finish buffing it in, I want you to see my nose has started separating, and that's kind of gonna be the mantra for this entire check-in, is that everything has just started falling apart. And my face has looked like this for the past maybe hour and a half. For about 10 or so hours, it kind of holds its own, and then it starts falling apart, you know? Because if you look around my mouth area, the fine hairs that I saw it catching on before, it kind of looks like the foundation is separating in that area. So it is starting to fall apart, but I can't like come up here and condemn it and be like, oh, this looks terrible. In the monitor, I can see that I don't look too greasy. And even in person, I don't look too greasy. But I could use a pat down, so I will just do that. I have had the longest day, so if I sound exhausted, just bear with me. I didn't want to have to redo this entire foundation review all over again. So I'm just going to finish it here. Show you that it is transferring, but this is so little that it can definitely be prevented. The wear of this foundation can definitely be extended with primers and powders, just like any other, but I feel like this one will actually hold up for maybe a solid 13 to 15 hours. I wouldn't really go beyond 15 hours because if it started breaking down now and it claims to be a 24-hour foundation, like L'Oreal, no. Up to 24 hours, so up to. Like, I feel like it would struggle and be like that one last remaining streak of foundation on your face at 24 hours. But would it hold up to like a full face at 24 hours, even with powders and primers and whatever? I am highly doubtful because it has started breaking up. I didn't really feel it on my face. Like, the more I pat it down, the less I feel it on my face. So it is very lightweight. Like, it's actually held up to most of its claims. My forehead does not look like a horrible mess. I mean, I can see a few fine lines, but that's kind of normal for me. So I'm not really holding it against a foundation. I am pretty impressed. If I'm going to be honest, the only thing that I can keep seeing, like when I'm looking for flaws, I keep looking at my pores and I'm like, all my pores are autoplay. Like every single one of them is like out here saying, hello, how are you, on both sides. It's kind of annoying. But I did check the bottle and it never claimed to be pore controlling, so I can't really hold that against it. I can just see separation around my nose and around my mouth area, so not bad. I'd give this a 4 out of 5. I mean, it does kind of look weird in those pockets and it settled into my fine lines, into my smile lines, like instantly. That happened at the very beginning. I don't know if I pointed it out or not. But that happened pretty damn quickly, but it hasn't gotten worse. You have seen the foundation for yourself. No powder, no primer, no nothing, and it's still held up in like sunshine. Well, I did leave here at 4 p.m, so the sun was pretty much down. But I was running like across town. I was running and speed walking basically back and forth, and I mean it's held up pretty damn well. When I came back, it wasn't too oily. I only blotted it that one time, like right after I was driving, and then like all the sweating and whatever. But then after that, I have not blotted it, I have not touched it up, I have not done anything, and I do think it looks pretty damn good. So all of that rambling is to say I approve of this foundation. I feel like it is definitely worth the buy because I did get mine for $10. That's such a good price. But can you hear? I'm like shaking it over my mic. It literally sounds like it's maybe halfway through the bottle. Maybe more than halfway. I feel like it's down here. And I've only used it a few times because I try not to use the foundation too much before I like wear test it, so I can form an opinion in real time. And I haven't used that much, and you saw how much I had to go in with in order to get like full coverage, and it is still full coverage. I don't really see this spot. I mean, I guess because I know it's there, I'm like looking, but I don't really see it, and I don't see any of the spots on this side. So I mean, it's great for full coverage. I just don't expect it to last that much longer in my collection, which is disappointing because foundation is supposed to last you at least a couple of months, you know? And I don't wear makeup every day. I only wear them for like these specific videos and like really important occasions. So that's kind of disappointing. I guess that's why it's a 4.5. It's a 4 as opposed to a 5. It's not a 4.5. It's not my favorite foundation. It's not the worst one I've ever tried. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found it helpful. Please ignore my lips because this is also the final check-in for this lipstick and I didn't want to touch it up and like cheat, you know? So yeah, thank you so much for watching and I guess I'll see you in my next video. Be sure to subscribe, leave me a comment, leave me a thumbs up if you like the video, etc., etc. Bye.